So when we think of hiring, the first thing I would say is it all starts with being consistent. I mean,
Yes.
the one thing that I've failed at, that we've all failed at, every single person, in my opinion, could do a lot better job is being consistent in regards to hiring. And it's probably my number one regret, I suppose, in this business
All of ours.
Yeah,
is
mine too.
not being as consistent as we want to be in regards to hiring. I think one of the things that I see so much is you can't do anything successfully if you continually start and stop, start, stop, start, stop. And you'll never build any momentum when you're consistently having start and stop, and a lot of frustration and then emotion comes in when you start and stop. So the one thing that I think that we have done better at is we are beginning to not stop anymore. So we're creating a little bit of a snowball effect. That's why our agency, or all our agencies, have grown in 2019. So what can you add, Tiffany, to consistency that you would give us? Any tips that you give everyone?
Well, I think that what can happen, it's not just obviously staying consistent with creating new leads for yourself as far as people you want to talk to and bring into the business, but not just on that side of it, but when you do start seeing some success, because I've seen this a lot and I've fallen victim to this as well. When you do start seeing some success and your agency is starting to produce some numbers that have gotten you into management positions and things like that, then you kind of want to put the brakes on a little bit and hold out and see, oh, we're doing okay. And then you're not consistently still talking to new people, and you're not encouraging the people that are now writing insurance to start talking to people and things like that. And I think when you start to move up in those levels from, sales manager to senior sales manager, VP and on up, sometimes people will get into a position where their agency's doing okay. So they're like, well, I can take a week off. I'm not going to run ads this week. Or I'm not going to, I can get back to the people from Indeed or what have you in a week or two. It just has to be constant. Like, nobody is going to tell you can just take a full week of production off, right? And make money. You can't. So you can't do that with hiring either.
Absolutely. What do you think, John, in regards to consistency hiring? I mean, you've had a tremendous amount of...
I've started and stopped quite a few times.
Yeah.
So I think that the biggest thing with consistency is that you have to put it into your schedule, just like everything else. You've got to set time aside for placing ads if you're working by yourself and doing some interviews, because the issue I came across is I'd find people in a certain area and go, okay, I got somebody there, they're good over there, and then not hire any more people over there, and then that person didn't work out, and then I've got nobody there. And so the difference I have now is, like, our platform is so strong, and we can just take on so many more people, that we can hire as many people as we want everywhere we can in the country. And it's never been easier. Everything's plug and play now. I mean, we have, we can literally get an agent that's licensed and have leads in his hands in 2 days and have him out running business that quickly. And so we can hire nationwide right now, so there's no reason not to be doing that. If you haven't started hiring, you actually should, because it's a great business to be in, selling insurance and helping people out. It's even better to help people make an income they never thought they'd ever make in their lives. The best phone calls I've gotten so far have been from agents saying that they've had more money deposited into their account in 1 month than they ever thought imaginable. And so this business has changed my life drastically, and there's no better feeling than getting that same call from agents that's doing the same for them. But in order to do that, you've got to do it consistently. You've got to place the ads consistently. You've got to interview consistently, and you've got to get people into contracting consistently. Because, like you said, if you don't, you can have inconsistent results from it. And that's what I did for the first couple of years. And once I started being consistent, then my agency really started to grow. Where first couple of years, it just fluctuated in between 6 and 8 agents the entire time. They were different 6 and 8, but they were 6 and 8,
Right.
And then now it's starting to grow because we're hiring consistently. And why not provide this platform to other people? Because it's such a great way to change your whole financial structure.
Absolutely. What would you say as far as getting agents started quickly, fast, successfully? What are some key points that you could give everyone to
get them on the phone right away? Get them on the phone right away. Get them out there. So many people think they need to know everything about everything. They don't. Okay. This process is really simple. When someone dies, somebody else gets a check. Okay. You can get better later on, but for right now, let's get you paid. And so we need to get people on the phone, setting appointments, get them into homes, and get a check into their account as quick as possible. Because two things happen, is because we're built with such high performers that people don't think it's real. Like, people don't think it's real that, like, Jonathan issued over $100,000 in 1 month. It's like, no, that's not real. No, it is real, okay? But it starts with your first policy. And so we need to get people into the homes, get them selling, and get a deposit in their account, and then they realize that that's real, and that's how you keep your agents.
What excuses have you seen for agents not to get started?
All of them. No,
Yeah.
I don't.
How about the most common?
The most common, I think that they're always getting ready to get ready. They don't
Sure.
have all the products. They don't know everything they need to know. And I tell them, you basically need to know. If you're starting off with final expense, it's so simple.
Yeah.
First of all, you get the leads in your hands in 48 hours, and you just dial, and when someone dies, you cover the burial costs. It can't be any easier than that.
Right.
And so I think that timid people get a little nervous about that, and they'll make every excuse up. But the people who are going to be successful will just put their head down, go run the appointment, fail if they need to, but then learn a lot from it, and then come back and get better.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say, getting agents started, any tips that you have seen that works well as well?
I think I think we all agree that getting ready to get ready is it's like an epidemic
Yeah.
that happens with new agents. And I think when you start like not acknowledging the get ready to get ready mentality, that it will change everything for you. Because agents that do that are either going to consistently be there, or you just have to kind of give them that big kick out of the nest and say it's time to fly now at some point. Because like, you need 3 things. Like, you need to get ready or be really good at 3 products. Everything else will come along the way. If you're running final expense only, you need 3 products. That's it. And instead of trying to learn every single product, just get good at 3. That's what, when I first started Matt, that's what Matt told me. He's like, you just need 3 products. I had no idea. I just went out and they were gonna die. We all do. So I'm like, okay, this fits the budget. Perfect. When you die, this person gets that. And I think a lot of times agents are worried that they're gonna place the wrong product. Let me be super clear on this, and I've said it before, you can't do this wrong. If someone dies and their family or loved one gets a check, you did it right. And there's no way to screw that up. There just isn't. So if that's what's holding you back, it's time to get out of the nest and go help some families.
What has helped you identify for agents that don't start? And because we hire a lot of people, and some are very motivated and they get started, and other people are not returning phone calls. And then a lot of times agents get frustrated with that process because they feel like they had someone when they really didn't. Any advice in regards to agents that don't move, and how to process through that and generate more business on the other side of the coin?
I think that it's important to understand that your personality as a leader and a mentor is not going to be the same as everyone else's. So that, I think that's a first step to it. And then once you recognize that, you can really determine the people that have their feet set in concrete and are not going to move. And it's not just a personality conflict. Because if you allow your personality to get in the way, then you're becoming emotional about things as a leader. And instead of doing that and just being able to recognize that this person was never going to even start a W-2 job where they had to clock in and clock out, you can identify that a lot faster. So by, really just becoming unemotional about it and really helping people just get that first check, like John said, that first deposit's all your goal is for folks. And the people that will not pick up the phone, my key is, if you won't run script with me, I'm pretty sure you're gonna stay in your house a long time not making money.
Absolutely.
Pretty key.
Yeah.
If you're worried about the person that's not moving, you're not hiring enough people.
Exactly.
You need to
Exactly.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
Mm-hmm.
John, you've done a great job with this. Best ways to get into your warm market. And not only just your personal warm market, but your friends, or even your agents, people that they know. Any advice you can give warm market? Because I think when you start to identify a lot of success in every single agency, it's with warm market, because they simply trust you, they move quicker, etc. So what would you give advice?
I think a great tool now, and a lot of people are using this, is social media. Just because of the fact, and we're such a transparent company here, that we're way more transparent than you'd even think.
Yeah.
I mean, to show bank deposits, nobody else does that. I guarantee it. Okay. I was talking to an agent that was thinking about going with us versus somebody else. And I said, how much insurance is the guy wrote that you're looking at working with, the other guy? And he goes, I don't know. And I said, send him a text, ask him to send you his bank account. Just show him deposits in there. And he did, and the guy wouldn't do it. And I said, I'll do mine. Boom, there you go. So, but for transparency, we have a lot of agents out there that, you know, some people might be turned off by it, but you don't know who's looking for another opportunity. You know, my first day on a new job, somebody came and said, hey, you're interested in selling insurance part-time? And I said, yeah. So the first day on a new job is not somebody you'd ideally think was looking for a new opportunity, because that is a new opportunity. But that's how I got here, was because somebody offered me this. So you don't know who's looking for that, but social media is a great tool to use to show your success and what you've done, and show deposits, because somebody might see that and say, I'm not making near that, and I'm miserable over here, and they'll reach out to you. Maybe it's not in a public forum, maybe it's a direct message or something like that, or a text saying, hey, you know, can I learn more about that? But the more we use social media to show our success, the more people, it's not bragging, it's actually helping people out, because we're reaching people that we wouldn't normally think would need help.
No question. What advice would you give people in regards to warm market and hiring?
I think sometimes what stops people from talking to their warm market is that they're considering their warm market to be the 10 people they talk to the most. And your warm market isn't just those 10 people. It's everyone that you can reach on a social media platform. That's considered a warm market, right? So when you're talking to family, or you're at Christmas and you're talking to a cousin that's not around very much, and they're like, oh, my best friend actually was looking at this. It's so much bigger. Your warm market is so much bigger than I think we give it credit for. So we tend to, you know, we don't want to talk to those 10 people, but those 10 people know 10 people who know 10 people who know 10 people. And right there, you're talking to 50 people because you had one conversation. So I think recognizing warm market as being bigger than yourself and those, you know, your super close circle is going to be really powerful when you start really hiring and being consistent with that.
Absolutely. I think one of the key factors to, you know, warm market is that we've identified and done a better job at is when we do hire maybe a licensed agent, for example, that we automatically ask if they want to be a business owner.
Yeah.
You know, there's a big difference between being self-employed and creating a job for yourself, and now we're talking about actually owning a business, operating a business. And the vast majority of people, when you ask that question, really want to be a business owner, want to have their own agency. So when you identify that, is there any reason why we won't get started now? You know, and then we start to hire 5 more agents with the agents you hire, or 10 more, or whoever. That's how, you know, Andrew Taylor's team's grown tremendously that way. There's a million different success stories I can give you, Kilman's, you know, Southeast, etc. A lot of you have learned how to ask those questions up front. So it's no different in hiring as it is in sales, where your job is to identify who you have in front of you, right? Who's the individual? What do they want out of this business, right? Because it's one thing to try to, you know, identify goals for someone, but what do they want out of the business? What are they looking to do? And if they're looking to do it, there's no reason to wait. The biggest thing that I've always said, right? I heard this from Sean years ago, is, you know, for people's warm market, you know, don't make financial decisions for other people.
Yes,
you might not be that good at this,
Uh-huh.
but what if your friend is, and you
Right.
you eliminate the ability for them to make a living because, you know, you're scared that it might not work for you? Like, the aggressive person wins every single time. Whoever goes on offense in every single facets, whether it's purchasing more leads, you know, attacking warm market, having a huge marketing budget, having staff's office, whoever goes on offense the most wins. Because if you're always playing in that defensive mindset, you'll never get ahead in this business. So those are some, you know, quick hiring tips that I would give you. And we're going to go ahead and move to mindset and closing out 2019, coming into 2020.